Theis is out, and House is out. Tate is good to go. Seems like he's good to go. I don't think he's warmed up yet, but he did some stuff this morning, and looks like he'll be able to play.
Who moves into the starting lineup with Danuel out?
Yeah, I'm not gonna say who's starting yet.
Are there things from the first loss? It was only 2 days ago, but are there things that you want to carry over to this game in terms of kind of the fighting spirit you guys used to get back to the 10-point game from 28-25?
Yeah, I mean, our defensive intensity was great. If it weren't for the turnovers that led to their fast breaks, where they had 20 fast break points and 32 points off our turnovers, it would have been a solid game for us. So defensively, we did a good job. We kept them out of the paint. We made them a mid-range shooting team. We rebounded the ball relatively well. So we want to carry all the good things as far as the defense, especially what we did, and then correct the offensive part that we struggled with, which was the turnovers and the free throws.
Not knowing how you'll go with the lineup and the rotation that follows, what are the sort of considerations, especially since this will be the first lineup change of the season?
Yeah, kind of figuring out guys who play well together. Thinking about their starting lineup, they went small last game. That was a surprise to us. Right before the game with Howard out, and I think Howard's out again tonight, so they'll probably go smaller. So thinking about that as well, but also thinking about the defensive success, for lack of a better word, that we had last game, making sure that the defense stays solid with the group that we have on the floor.
In Alpe's case, though he's a 19-year-old rookie, how do you feel about his ability just to sort of handle whatever, if that's the assignment or the circumstances, atmosphere, just as a guy to handle those kinds of things thrown at him?
Yeah, he's handled everything that's been thrown at him so far. So whether it's extended minutes tonight because Daniel's not playing, or starting tonight because Daniel's not starting, he's been great as far as handling every situation that's been thrown at him. Partly because probably since he's been a pro for a long time and is not easily swayed either way. He is a pretty steady kid, and he'll get extended minutes tonight.
What do you think to start the last 2 games? You've had your lowest scoring quarters. Is that an energy thing, or is that just an execution thing to start these games off?
Yeah, probably more execution than energy. I think our energy's been good. I usually look at our defensive energy a little bit more than our offensive energy, and we've been starting the games off pretty good defensively. We just haven't been either making shots or taking care of the basketball or getting out and running the way that we should. So I would say it's more kind of like the game plan execution stuff as opposed to the hard play stuff.
These two teams are the two highest paced teams in the NBA right now. Was there a sense that the Lakers were dictating the pace regardless of if they were playing fast, just to their speed and not the Rockets' speed last game?
I mean, they always do. When LeBron James has the ball in his hands, he's going to dictate the pace. And when Russell Westbrook has the ball in his hands, he's going to dictate the pace. And we're still finding our way when it comes to how we dictate pace. The concepts that we've been kind of harping on and getting better at slowly but surely. At times when you have those veteran guys on the floor who know how to kind of control the pace of the game, then that's kind of what you fall into.
Coach, there have been times where you've obviously talked about different defensive approaches, going zone, stuff like that. How have you seen the young guys kind of grasp those early concepts?
It's been good so far. We showed film today that was very positive. We had help the helper situations. We had cover situations on the weak side where the closest man just has to take it. And we had situations, Scoot was really good as far as his pursuit last game. And then if he was out of the play, find the next man to rotate to and that sort of thing. So they're grasping it. They're, we played 6 games, so I always want it to be faster than it's probably going to be. But yeah, they're getting it.
Take some questions on Zoom.
Cody Davis, go ahead, please.
Hey, Coach. Speaking of Kevin Porter Jr., last game he actually had some success guarding LeBron James one-on-one. Can you just talk about some of the enhancements that you have seen in Kevin Porter Jr. in terms of his defensive style?
Yeah, he's big and he's quick. He has the want to defend, and he did an admirable job on LeBron. It's a very hard job, obviously, and we were cross-matched at times. So Tate had him some, and Scoot had him some, and Nwaba had him some. But as far as his commitment to the defensive end, it's far better than it was last year. Last year, he was just kind of learning, and now he's applying a lot of the things that he learned, a lot of the things that we did this summer. But, we've had conversations about him really applying himself on the defensive end, and he's started the season doing that.
Zach Allen, go ahead, please.
Hey, Coach Silas, back on defense. And how important is, to just eliminate the space when it comes to the Lakers and everything? And how can you describe Jalen Green's defense this year? He's been pretty good defensively this year so far.
Yeah, I mean, the space, you can't allow them to play in space. The Lakers, they are a downhill team. If you give them angles to the rim or if you give them the paint, then it's going to be really hard for you to be successful on the defensive end. As far as Jalen's learning, Jalen's trying. He is kind of hard, like answering these questions about Jalen from game to game, because it is going to be like a stretch where you can't like evaluate every single game when it comes to these guys, because you'll find that there are ups and downs, and some games will be good and other games they won't be so good. So I'm looking at it more of a long-term approach, not like long-term as far as the season's concerned, but long-term, like week to week and month to month, where we can really see the improvement. But if you're looking at it from like the last time we played the Lakers to the next time we play the Lakers, like little improvements are important, but like judging these guys based on a few games, you'll go crazy, and there will be when you're evaluating things on a small sample size, sometimes you find things that aren't correct. It's a lot easier to judge based on a bigger sample size.
Jackson, go ahead, please.
Hey, Steven. Last game, Jalen Green had just the 8 shot attempts, but he did, facilitate the ball pretty well, had 5 assists. How do you balance Jalen and Kevin Porter Jr. and the usage rating between those two guys offensively and making sure they both get adequate touches on a game-by-game basis?
Yeah, I mean, the usage is important. Making sure that we're getting the ball from side to side helps that, where both guys get opportunities. But we do have, we have Christian Wood on the floor. We have Eric Gordon on the floor. So when we're moving the ball, when we're playing fast, when we're playing with space, then everybody benefits. But when we're playing a little bit slower and we're having half-court sets and that sort of thing, that's where, you can kind of manage Jalen's touches or Seawood's touches or Scoot's pick and rolls or whatever. But I would prefer us just get it off of maximum ball movement and driving kick and that sort of thing, and have it less be about picking and choosing the usage and having the usage come a little bit more organically.
Go ahead.
Have your players come up and had conversations with you about the new ball and how they're kind of getting used to it or not, or how they're adjusting? Not really. I mean, when we first got the ball, the guys were, anything new, they're always like, why they change and all that. But since the first couple of weeks that we had the ball, we haven't had anybody, or at least I haven't had anybody come up to me and say anything about it.